I want to know what the hell is going on.
3, 2, 1. Way off.
This is your episode edit, right? So
Yeah, sure is.
So, yeah,
You can
those
tell
that
how
might not
enthusiastic
know-
I am just about the whole situation, right?
Well, yeah, it's like those of you that are listening to the episode, you might not have had this spoiled yet, and I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news here, but so to catch everybody up, we've had the trial, the people versus Arnold Schwarzenegger, to see if he's guilty of crimes against cinema. And after a long trial and a long deliberation, we finally had the votes, and those votes were held. They were gate-kept from us by SurveyMonkey for money. And what we saw quickly while we were on the air was $30 a month was the cheapest that they would let it go for. And I just immediately closed the fucking window, didn't even give it a second thought. I'm like, nope. Even Jamie, the only person that would have wanted to, because she was currently losing the vote, even she was like, nope, not doing that, not fucking with $30, a one-time fee of $30 to get, I think it was like 6 votes or something like that.
6 votes, yep.
Yeah, and when one of our listeners and the composer of our usual theme song, Adam, he heard about it. He immediately sent us a Ko-Fi donation of $30 to release the results, his pursuit of justice, and I fucking loved that for him and for us. I was like,
by the way,
brilliant.
Before we get too far into this, I just want to note that all Ko-Fi donations are non-refundable, so I just want to make that clear, get that out in the air. Anyway, do continue, Kelly.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment, but yeah, so yeah, everything got gummed up at this point, and we had 6 votes that we're unable to see, but as of our current tally, Arnold had won. It was not guilty by 1 vote. And
No, as of our current tally, it is tied. 100% tied.
I will accept that. Well, continue.
When we recorded the last episode,
Okay.
Arnold had won by 1 vote. Even a tie would be considered a hung jury, where we would end up back at the same conversation we're going to have in just a moment. So it's kind of immaterial. And those 6 votes at the time, they've now turned into 8 votes. So 2 votes came in after the wire, and I'm not even whatever. I don't give a fuck, because as you'll be quick to find out, it isn't going to matter anyways. Because so Adam donated this money, and we're like, yay, Adam, thank you so much. That's wonderful. And we pulled back all of the press releases that we were going to put out about Arnold's innocence, and of course, you probably have been seeing on our social media all the breaking news that there's going to be a recount. And it's not necessarily a recount. It's just we were going to finally add those last 6, in parentheses, 8 votes to the final tally. Well, today, before we went to record, I went to just make sure everything was lined up, and I logged into our PayPal, logged into SurveyMonkey, went and looked at the amount, and it said $30 a month, but in fine print, per user, 3 user minimum, 12-month billable.
Billed annually.
$1,080 was the option that they had listed, with a big $30 a month is actually $1,080, which was another reason why I'm like, you know what? Fucking fuck Survey fucking Monkey. The fucking
fuck SurveyMonkey.
Who even needs a survey that badly?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Just to click a yes or a no. Like, from a programmer point of view, like, Jesus Christ, I'll just make a fucking poll myself and put it on. It's not fucking rocket science. Anyways.
SurveyMonkey, I want you to just eat the entirety of my ass, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I want it to eat its own shit. So.
After scouring a little bit more, I did find a cheaper version on SurveyMonkey, but even that was $100 a month. And I'm like, no, even if Adam, you're hearing the sound of my voice and you're wondering, well, why wasn't, no, I'm not going to let you spend $100 to support
You're not
this
giving
company
SurveyMonkey that much satisfaction.
Nope, I'm not rewarding those capitalist fucking donkeys with more of anybody's money that I know. Take that $100 and donate it to a soup kitchen if you're so inclined. Speaking of which, make sure you go to our Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/screenshare and donate money to us. We're just not going to give it to horrible companies that don't reward you properly.
Yes, we refuse
wouldn't
to
mind
give your
paying for
money
something that's
to
useful.
terrible companies.
You know, like if SurveyMonkey had unlimited and they were like, throw us a $5 donation, I probably would have done that. I've used SurveyMonkey so much. I don't mind throwing them a little bit of money for here and there, but to try to rake you over the coals, oh, it's gross. It's gross.
That's an exorbitant amount of money for anything. There are much more useful websites that charge far less than that. That's insanity.
Let's get to the meat of it. I'd like to keep this a tight 20 if we can.
So let me tell you, I was driving to work today. And,
oh my God, please.
You realize that that's just like an invitation for me to dawdle about.
To get to the point.
Yeah, every time you say that, he draws out the point longer.
Jesus. I volunteered to do this edit on Saturday, even though I have lots to do for the pod, and now the pod is trying.
So
to
what
kill
it comes
me.
down to is this: is from my first gut reaction, it feels like we have three options. Basically, we can sit down and discuss it between us, and if Jamie is willing to let things slide as they are, there's a legal term that's basically like fail to prosecute, which basically means the prosecutor saw everything in front of them and basically said it's not worth the time and the effort. I'm not gonna do anything about it.
See, I have issues with the word failed though, because I did not fail.
Well, if you didn't get a conviction, by
I
definition,
did. SurveyMonkey just won't let me prove it.
But so you
Capitalism.
think you got a
Capitalism.
conviction.
Capitalism
you
has
did not
fucked over
get a
justice
conviction.
once again.
That is very possible, and that would be. It is fitting, I have to say, for our podcast that this is what we're dealing with.
So you can only get true justice if you have lots of money.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Like I've mentioned a million times, we have hundreds of people that like us on all these different platforms. And for most of the platforms, in order for the people that have chosen to see our posts, for them to see our posts, we'd have to give them Facebook or Insta or fucking YouTube or whoever money for them to see the things that our fans and listeners have said, I'd like to see this, please. Yeah. Anyway. So that's first option. And you can call it something else. We don't have to call it fail to prosecute. We can call it, inability to close the deal, if you'd like, if that makes you feel better about it.
I like if we call it anything with the word hung in it.
I also like hung things.
Dirty.
Well,
not like no, not like that. I didn't mean it like that. No.
Dirty. So the other option, second option is we reopen the votes, reopen the polls, redo the entire thing with a different poll.
I can't
version. And then have another episode where we go over the results and yada yada.
I don't think we get nearly the turnout that we have for this, so I don't think that would be.
And the in my first three thoughts, the final of the three is that we just end with the way it is, which ends up being a tie, which ends up being he's not guilty. And that means that we can just move on with our lives because really in the end, none of this fucking matters. We're just a podcast that is having a mock trial about an old action movie.
Or
star.
the fourth option.
Why are you even wasting your time on this? Like, the world is ending. What are you doing?
Right.
Why are you even here?
Dissociation. We discussed this. Dissociation. This is somebody's form of dissociation.
If future me, if me from this time went back and saw like 10-year-old Kelly and was like, hey, guess what? World War III is happening, and you're never going to guess who you're rooting for.
Oh my God. Well, here's the fourth option is me and Jamie just say, fine, it's a tie. Let's speak no more of it and move on with our lives. How about that?
But
I can agree to Oh, see, Kelly can't agree to that one.
No. I'm okay with that. But let me teach you a little lesson about what happened to the United States post-Civil War. What happened was the government kind of kicked the can when it came to the separation of the two sides of the argument. So what this does is because we don't have a definitive end, that means every time Arnold comes up, it's still an undecided factor, kind of, because Jamie's going to find her reason. Like, she's going to basically do the 2020 election thing and basically say, oh, they stole the vote. And you're going to be like, no, the wheels of democracy have turned and they found him not guilty. And I'm going to be sitting there going,
hold up.
What? Did you not like that comparison, Jamie? I'm sorry.
I did not. But also, Were you under some deranged idea that I was going to suddenly be like, okay, Arnold won, and therefore I must like him?
No, but the
Were you
whole
under the
point this is that-
deranged idea that I was going to accept the results ever?
No, but the whole point of this was that it was going to settle it once and for all. That you can say, I don't like him, but you couldn't say that he's bad overall, because we went to trial and we decided that overall people generally like him more than they dislike him. Kind of thing.
They like
And
him.
we
They
eventually got
like
it
and
down
dislike
to-
him exactly the same amount. His like and
it's
dislike is
basically
like even. It's like if you were in a looking at a graph, the graph would be even with these other numbers over here that nobody can see.
Except
know,
for the
in my
fact that
life-
our funder, right, our paying customers got extra votes, so that kind of, you could whittle away that advantage on that merit. Look, okay, I'm
True.
suing you right now, Jamie, and Slope in the court. I'm going to
See, that's what I'm saying. Is that's all this does when we just kind of go, it doesn't really matter, is that it just kicks the can, and this ends up being an argument that we have ad nauseum for the next
We were
however
still
long the
going to.
podcast runs.
We were still going to. I hate to
At
break
least
that.
if it was but see, it would be, I can tell you from my point of view that it would hinge my arguments greatly on the podcast, because the podcast had a fucking vote. So if the vote came back and he was guilty of crimes against cinema, I would be like, I'm a fan, but obviously he's not as well loved as whatever. But anytime
you
you
should
say
still
that
be
he's
saying
not
that.
well loved, but that's not true. It's simply just not true, and the vote shows that
No, the vote
even-
shows he's not as well loved as you two thought he was. Because one of you at least thought it was going to be a runaway.
Okay, which one of us said that it was going to be a runaway? I think we have it on tape that we both said that the vote was going to be a lot closer than what most people would think. I think both of us said going up to the election or the vote that we were both very nervous about the results because we didn't think it was going to be a landslide either way. So I think our expectations are pretty reasonable.
I'm just saying that there was no chance that I was ever going to say that the man did not commit crimes against cinema.
But at least it would have been like the matter
Legally
is
binding.
settled.
Yeah.
The matter, as far as in these four walls while we're recording the podcast, the matter's fucking settled. You can complain about it, and it'd be going for either one of you. If you won the guilty vote, then Keith or I could be sitting here saying, but Arnold, blah 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 blah. It doesn't fucking matter. In this room, Arnold lost. He is not. He is guilty of crimes against cinema, and we do not talk about him fondly in this. That kind of thing. But
Except for that we still probably are going to have to watch him in Jingle All the Way again at Christmas time.
you heard it here first. Jamie wants to do Jingle All the Way again
I
next
do not
year.
want to.
I think
do
that
not
sounds
want
like
to.
a great
but
idea,
I think that's what's
Jamie.
going to happen.
Don't worry, Jamie. I will give you a break this holiday season, and we will watch Jingle All the Way 2, starring Larry the Cable Guy instead.
Okay. That might be worse, but at least it's not Arnold.
I did love seeing. I thought it would have been funny as hell if if we got to see those final votes and it turned out that like all 6 of them were not guilty and Arnold won by even more of a lands or by
That's what I
more
was
of a
hoping
margin.
for.
I thought that would have been funny as hell. And it they probably would have pissed Adam off even more because he voted guilty, and for that to push it even more, that would have been, I don't know, it would have been horrible, but it would have been funny because of it. I think it would have been very fitting, and it would have been a cool story to find out that, let's say, all 6 of those votes were guilty. That would have been fucking great,
Yeah.
So,
But now we'll never know.
now we'll never know, and I refuse as the person that
absolutely.
has the button to click. I don't care how much, unless you pay me like I don't know. There is a limit. I can be bought. I'm still a whore. So you give me like, I don't know, 10 grand, 20 grand. I'll make it
As
work.
the prosecution, it has to be a good amount of money for me to even give in to giving Survey Monkey money at this point.
Yeah, Daddy needs new shoes. So
But yeah, 10 grand, I might be swayed.
Cut to the boardroom of Survey Monkey, and Al be back as they're smoking a cigar with the executive.
Probably. That's exactly, I'm certain that Al bought it and raised the prices right before our votes. I'm certain that's what
Right.
happened.
Yeah.
So that's about all that we came here to talk about today. And, you're getting a little bit shorter episode this week. I would say sorry, but there are only two types of people that are listening to this podcast right now. People that that have subscribed and are paying, that have paid us money on Ko-Fi. And to those people, I'm saying, of course, I'm not talking to you when I say this. But to the other people, the people that aren't subscribed, hey, you get what you pay for. You didn't give us any money. So if you get 15 minutes... it's still better than nothing, right?
And to the people who have found us and this is their first episode, we're sorry. We're sorry that you have found this one
that we talk about. Yeah. We do review movies. Imagine this being the first episode. By the way, I'm Kelly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. I'm Keith.
And I'm Jamie.
We didn't even say the name of the pod or anything. We're Screen Share and Chill. We're a podcast that reviews movies.
Yeah, hey,
Every week we
don't
take
go.
turns forcing each other to watch movies.
You there, don't go, don't leave. You come
We
back.
failed tonight.
You're 16 minutes into a podcast about something you have no idea what anybody's fucking talking about. But then again, if you've gotten this far, I feel like you're already a fan. You don't even know what we're talking about. You already like us. So
imagine it. Screen Share and Chill, a podcast about movies. Okay, let me listen. And where we announce that we're announcing nothing, like literally is the point of the episode.
Bitching about Survey Monkey and like, what is this? What these people do? You recommended me this podcast. I don't get it.
We promise. Just keep listening. It gets better.
Yeah.
It was just two guys making a woman cry over and over again about Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't understand the appeal. So yeah. So next week we'll be back with Trekkies is what we're going to be reviewing next after this, right?
Yes.
Yep, that's correct.
So you get to hear a Trekkie or a Trekker tell you about
What
whether
do you
he's a
consider
Trekkie
yourself?
or a Trekker.
Are you a Trekkie or a Trekker?
I will discuss that on the pod.
Ooh, big. Okay, something to look forward to, new listener. Thanks. Giving something to glom onto. There we go.
And it does matter to me. I will say that. I have chosen one over the other, and I'll tell you why.
Okay. I am neither.
I will tell you that I think Trekker
Yet.
sounds stupid. So I hope you didn't choose that one, but we'll find out.
Now Kelly's crying.
Well, just in case I am a Trekker, your
Uh-huh.
face is stupid.
Okay, that's fair.
Your mom is dead.
Holy
And
shit.
stupid.
All our moms are
Go
dead.
on, just go all out.
We're orphans. We're all orphans.
I figured I'd just skip ahead to the dead. I was going to say your
Yeah.
mom is stupid. And
Yeah. She's actually a very intelligent woman, I'll have you know, or was when she was alive.
well, I'm sure she
Down
is. She has an intelligent son. So there's,
Aw, thank you.
it doesn't happen very often where a dumb parent has
Even
a
if he
smart
has
child.
really
It does
bad
happen
taste.
sometimes, though.
I
Not for
smarted.
You smarted all over the podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
Wait, were
I'm
we
a
talking
little
about the
grossed out
president
now.
again?
I'm a little grossed out now.
Man, you know, I smarted. That would be a good name for a podcast. Or who smarted? Who smarted? Let's put that one in the bank. I'll buy that domain.
Yeah, we own the rights to that. I feel like those characters in the movies that every time they come up with a brilliant idea in public, they say to everybody around them, that was my idea.
Yeah.
It's copyright. Copyright Kelly, Screen Share and Chill, 2020,
I mean, that
whatever.
would totally be copyright Keith, maybe. I don't know.
Not
We'd
if
have
I
to
said
play
it
back.
first.
Yeah, we'd have to play it
Well, I
back. I don't know.
copyrighted it first. I'll sue you
Is it
too.
copyrighted, copyrighted,
I'm suing both of you now.
copyrighted? All right, let's get out of here.
For Screen Share and Chill, I'm Keith.
I'm Jamie.
And I'm Kelly.
I'm going to call
See you later.
Yeah,
Sorry
bye.
to disappoint you.
Bye.
No
But
actual
you know what?
resolution.
Screw Survey Monkey.
Life is disappointment.
We started this in January. This is a 3.5 month tease. This has just been edging.
With no release. Yeah.
Yeah, no, edging ends up well. This did not.
Yeah, we're just walking away in frustration.
Star Trek next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.